right, so before I jumped into the change in the range, I made some changes to. All right, let's just get out of the way first, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So before, I had an issue where the range targets could attack a target that was out of range in the combat. So I haven't fixed that yet, but what I've done is I've subdivided the code into three different source files. So you've got range combat, adjacency combat, which could become melee combat if I change, like, make a sword and sorcery type game. So I'm kind of like into that as well, so we can do that. And then a generic combat. So any generic routines would be in that combat, and it gets it out of the game scene, so that's good. The next thing is when I select a unit, you can see now instead of using that actual asset, I'm just drawing a yellow hexagon around it to show that it's highlighted, and then the next thing is you can tap it off, so that's kind of good. All right, so let's pull out, I know that someplace over here is a heavy unit which has increased movement. Let's move them out so you can see them a little better. The next thing is rather than, you couldn't really, it wasn't that clear. I had a min and max range debug code, and after I got through, I was like, I kind of like that. Maybe make that an option if somebody wants to see it. And so that's kind of what this is. So the purple tiles are its max range. The red tiles, which are really kind of supposed to be pink, are supposed to be the min range tiles. So there you go. So let's move them into range, and maybe we'll make it a little clearer. They move further on the roads for how to do that. So once again, turn it on and turn it off. You can see that unit is not in range, so we can move to max movement. And now those two guys are in range. One thing which I find kind of annoying, which is what I'm going to do as well, which I might do a little sooner rather than later, because it'll be easier to do than trying to debug this other stuff, because I have to I gotta take the stuff that's in ranged that's using the generic combat, and I'm gonna have to kind of tear it apart further. But it might be easier. This one thing that's annoying, if I move a unit and I kind of made a delay, I'm not using the actions tool that you can have in Sprite Kit, where you can draw actions and you can kind of add in time, which I would like to do because I want to do it as much as possible there without having to tweak code. I just say 2 seconds, and that's because I've got that one audio loop that I want to play, and then when I do my movement, it's supposed to be on about a 2-second delay. All right, so let's see what happens here. I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to count 2 seconds. 1001, 1002. Yeah, so he's hitting about there, but a lot of times, like, these guys are off screen. I don't see them. And like, I'll hit to do something. I'll try and do it here real quick. And they move, and then I click again, and I'm clicking, and I'm clicking, and now I can do something. So I don't see the guy that moved, and I need to have some kind of wait signal to turn that off. Here's a little bit better. Now the range becomes a little more intuitive. However, it's pretty busy, right? It would be just fine if it had the possible moves and the possible attack targets he could do. I don't, so maybe you tap him a second time and you can turn on his range. So like there is moves, tap him again, it's range targets, and then tap him to turn them off. So maybe that's what I'll do. Um, let's see what else. Let's just in turn. I want to see. When I do that, I should never see the guy up in the road, the regular armor unit. Let's see if everybody that attacks me, I should be able to attack them back. That guy, that has no range, so he couldn't attack me. That guy was out of range. He could not attack me, but that heavy up there could. All right. I don't think I can attack the guy in the forest. No. So it's just in turn. That guy's definitely within range. That guy's in range. I could have attacked him. That guy's only got adjacency combat. Just to check. I can't attack that guy. He can't attack me. So let's just in turn. Yeah, that'll probably. So let's see what happens now. Still can't attack that guy. So I see there's a little bit of problem with my logic here. If you looked along, if you're playing the real game and you looked along hex center to hex tile center, that armor unit is debatable whether or not he's in line of sight, right? Because if you were to draw from the center to the center, it would draw along the length of that forest that's coming out, and he would be in the forest. He should be a unit that's within line of sight. I don't know if I'll be able to stay alive long enough for the other guys to attack, but let's in turn and see if he can attack me. There is definitely a bug if you're on different columns. Yeah, I'm dead. So he wasn't the guy that killed me. Anyway, so it's what it's looking like, and we'll continue on. Thanks a bunch for watching.